If you're betting the NHL using only stats like shot attempts, expected goals, or even some possession numbers, you're already ahead of most people. But here's the problem: stats alone don't tell you why a game is likely to break a certain way. In this video, I'm going to show you the fundamental factors that actually move NHL outcomes, things the market often underprices, ignores, or reacts to too late. This is Grandstand Sports Data, and let's get into the video. When it comes to betting the NHL, fundamentals are going to matter just as much as the numbers. So, technical analysis, the stats, right? These are going to tell you who the better team is on paper. But fundamentals tell you how these two teams actually match up tonight. So, let's start with the first one, which is style versus style, right? Some teams play fast and create chaos, while others slow the game down and bring it to a grind. Systems matter in hockey, maybe more than any other sport. And so do unit matchups as well, especially things like a strong power play versus a very weak penalty kill. These are the things that you want to look after as a fundamental, handicapper. Even the head-to-head matchups I want to kind of, show to you. Think of it like a top forward is going up against a shutdown defensive pairing, or even the other way. A top forward could be going up against a third pairing defenseman on a certain shift. You need to be able to handicap these things and identifying before the game even begins. Next will be goalie quality, which is massive in hockey, right? Starter versus backup changes everything. And even two starters can have very different talent levels. These are the things you have to remember. Also, a good goalie can steal a game, and a bad one can ruin a perfect handicap. Just remember that. Then you have injuries and rest. So, missing a top defenseman or a top six forward is going to matter a lot compared to missing a depth winger. Also, rest, I would say, just personally, Anthony from Grandstand Sports Data, this is one of the ones I would highlight if I was you. Rest is huge in hockey. You'll be able to see this as the season goes on. You'll see a team that's coming off of a back to back. All of a sudden, they're down 2-0 in the first period. Why? Their legs are shot. They just played the night before. They just played a hockey game the night before. They're exhausted. Also, travel is going to factor into that as well. So please have those in your fundamental analysis. Next is going to be player quality. This is the final big piece at a team level. Things like Corsi for percentage, expected goal percentage tell us how well they drive play. And then you can even get to the player level where there's WAR, there's RAPM, or there's even on ice expected goal differential or expected goal. You could even say an impact. This is going to help you understand who truly moves the needle. And then there's that travel and motivation that we're going to talk about, and also coaching. These don't win bets on their own, but they add the context, right? Things like long road trips, revenge spots, roster adjustments, or teams coming off emotional wins or losses. I would even say coaching works hand in hand with system or matchups, the first one that we touched on. So when you blend all these fundamentals with your technical analysis, that's when you start finding some real edges in the sports book that models can't really fully price in. So these next factors aren't usually strong enough to drive a bet on their own, but they absolutely help you refine your edges. So we're going to have things like home ice advantage. In hockey, it's kind of real, but it's much smaller than all the other sports. On average, it's worth about a quarter of a goal or roughly a 3% bump in win probability. And that is based on us over the last 5 years just examining through the numbers. So it matters, but it's never the full reason to make a bet by itself. So and I would say home ice really comes down to the form of coaching and matchups because they're able to have that second change, which helps teams gets them or helps home teams get the matchups that they want. Next would be chemistry and mentality also play a role. Teams on a long road trip, maybe teams dealing with internal drama, or teams that look flat coming out of intermissions. These little signs are going to point to underlying issues that don't show up in the numbers. Then you've got schedule spots. These are very similar to the rest and travel. You got back to backs, 3 and 4 nights, travel swings from west to east. They all affect energy levels, decision making, and then late game performance. So please have those as well in your handicapping. Finally, there's going to be external factors that most bettors ignore as well. And that's going to be the rink and the officiating. So some arenas, you need to remember they have faster or slower ice, which can impact totals. And then there's different officiating crews that call more or even fewer penalties, which affects scoring environments. So none of these factors should be the centerpiece of a handicap, but they absolutely help break ties or even explain edges a model might not fully catch. So if you made it this far, you're already ahead of most bettors because you're actually investing in your process, not just chasing picks. So if you learned something new or these factors gave you a better understanding of how to approach the NHL betting market, hit that like button. It really helps the channel reach more serious bettors like yourself. And also make sure to subscribe to Grandstand Sports Data and turn on those notifications because we drop videos every single week breaking down sports betting in an educational way. Also, drop a comment down below. Let me know what factor you think makes the biggest impact, and we might create a video around that factor. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.